Hi, Analisa Six here with the Lady of Leisure and the Sober Curator to bring you the November 2024 horoscope for the zodiac sign of Libra for sun and rising placements. Welcome, Libra, to Scorpio season. It's already the middle of the month. I think today's the 16th. I'm super behind on getting these out to you guys, but better late than never. You can also check in and see how the last couple of weeks have been, and maybe these videos will kind of help you go, oh, that's why I've been feeling this way, or whatever. So I'm going to try to keep these short just because we only have a couple more weeks out of the month anyways, and just kind of talk about the highlights and where the areas of your chart for a horoscope are kind of hitting you. And, make sure when you watch these videos, you watch your rising placement as well as your sun sign, because your rising placement oftentimes is just as, if not more accurate, because horoscope charts are calculated based on rising placement. So we started out November with a pretty significant new moon in the sign of Scorpio. It was at 9 degrees Scorpio. And the area of the horoscope that hits for Libra is the 12th house, which is the house that, I'm sorry, it's the second house, not the 12th house. The second house is the house that represents our connection to money, finances, our relationship to self-worth, what we value, material objects, material stability, and how we're having a personal relationship to those things. So new moons, reminder, are a good time to set intentions for things that you want to call in, things that you want to manifest into your life. Scorpio energy has a lot to do with death and rebirth. So transmutation of energy, transformation, this can be very spiritual and personal. It can be very literal, where we feel like we're actually watching some kind of death take place in our life over something. But Scorpio is all about the acceptance that nothing is stagnant, nothing is fixed, even though Scorpio is a fixed sign. I mean, that's the fixity of that truth, right? Is that we can count on the fact that seasons of life are constantly happening. There's always going to be some form of death and rebirth, this kind of ebb and flow. That's one of the natural laws of reality as we know it, is that nothing stays the same forever and everything is always in a state of change and flux. And so Scorpio energy very much kind of holds that truth. And whenever we're in Scorpio season, we might be experiencing a lot of that energy around something in our lives. And then we look to see where Scorpio is hitting in our charts, and that kind of shows where everything's highlighted. So this new moon hitting in your second house of the horoscope has a lot to do with death and rebirth and letting go and releasing things around your relationship to material security as you have known it. Also setting intentions around the way that you want to cultivate or manifest certain things financially or materially into your life. Also narratives that we have around self-worth, our values around how we make money, those types of things all come up during the new moon at the start of the month. We also start out November with Mercury finishing up its stint in Scorpio. So at the beginning of the month on the 3rd, Mercury is going to be leaving Scorpio, where it's been over the last month, and enter Sagittarius. And Mercury is going to be in Sagittarius until January, because we have Mercury stationing retrograde in Sagittarius at the end of the month. The house that this is entering for Libra is the 3rd house of communication. And you've already had Venus here for a while. Venus entered Sagittarius in October, mid-month. And so Venus has been passing through the 3rd house of communication for you already. And when Venus is passing through the 3rd house, it really wants harmony and resolution when it comes to communication, and also our way that we're absorbing information and the way that we're communicating information and learning new concepts or things. And in the sign of Sagittarius, we might feel kind of more inclined to want to be open to new ways of thinking, or we're interested in exploring different modalities of thought, things like that. Venus is the planet of relationships. So this also could be where we are trying to have maybe certain conversations with people that we're in close partnerships with, romantically or friendship wise, where maybe we're integrating different values or beliefs or talking about those things. And with Mercury entering the third house, Mercury is also going to be amplifying that energy. So you're working a lot on communication, you're working a lot on maybe discussing values and beliefs in the sign of Sagittarius, and maybe, the ways that you differ in values and beliefs with people, but also how do you integrate new perspectives. So, one of the things that I think Libra can be, every Libra dominant person that I know is incredibly smart, very, very, very smart, very observant, really good at articulating their thoughts and their ideas. I do feel like Libra dominant people because they're so smart, tend to have a hard time listening sometimes, or absorbing new concepts or ideas. If they feel like they've already mastered something or known something. And Sagittarius can also be like that. So Sagittarius energy can, Sagittarius is the I know sign or the I seek sign. And Sagittarius loves to learn, just kind of like Libra does. Like, you guys are constant students of things, but it can also in turn like to be the know-it-all or disseminate information and be very, kind of dominant in how it wants to teach or disseminate the information that it's learning. And so that Libra Sagittarius combination of things can go kind of a couple ways. You could be in a state where you're really receptive and open to learning something new concepts. Maybe you want to explore a new concept. And in turn, you could also be really wanting to disseminate or teach something that you feel really confident and wise about. And the reason why I'm bringing up some of the maybe like more negative qualities where that can turn into kind of like a little bit of a know-it-all or have a hard time listening thing is because Mercury is going to station retrograde in this area of the chart for you, Libra, at the end of the month. And so when Mercury is retrograde in Sagittarius, all of us across the board have more of an opportunity to put our foot in our mouths or learn some lessons around things that, like, some humility lessons. Like Sagittarius energy often has to learn a lot of humility around what it doesn't know and be okay with not knowing and be more in like a receptive learning place. And since we're all going to be under the influence of Mercury in Sagittarius and Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius, we're all going to have different areas of our life that we're learning that lesson. But for you, it's really around your communication because it's happening in the third house of communication. So you might, put your foot in your mouth sometimes and kind of go like, oh, I should have listened instead of speaking. Or you might, have something that you really want to share with someone and maybe they're not receptive to it and you have to work through your own feelings around that. Maybe you're in a position where you do have to teach or educate something and maybe you're learning through that process some ways that are working, some ways that aren't working. There's all these kind of opportunities for you to grow and evolve in how you're communicating and how you're learning. And then because it's in Sagittarius, Sagittarius is the sign that rules our values and our beliefs. Sometimes our perspective on values and beliefs begins to change when we're under these transits as well. Like we're growing and evolving and maybe shifting some of our ideas around that. So that's a big theme for you in the month of November, especially once we get to Sagittarius season and the sun enters this place. But I'm going to talk about that in a second. We're going to back up and talk about some of the other planets happening at the beginning of the month. So after Mercury enters Sagittarius on the 3rd, Mars around the 4th, 5th is going to enter the sign of Leo. And the area of the horoscope that hits for Libra is the area that rules your connection to your community, your friendship circles, group associations. And when Mars enters this area of the chart, we can experience some conflict within a group structure, or we can also feel very empowered and ignited to want to be more active in terms of our social networks, our social circles, and even political organizations or anywhere that we dedicate our time or volunteer our time. And one of the things that's happening for us, Mars is entering Leo and then going through a pretty significant cycle here. Mars is going to station retrograde in Leo in December. And we're going to have Mars in Leo for quite a while, all of November, all of December. And then in January, it's going to go back into Cancer. And then it's not going to be in Leo again until April. And then it's going to finish its stint in Leo and enter Virgo not till June of 2025. So Mars has been in your 10th house of career. Now, and that's difficult. We experience kind of more challenges at work. Work can be busy. We can be kind of like experiencing just a lot of action here. And then when Mars moves into the 11th house, that energy kind of goes more into social areas, group associations, group kind of dynamics. And then when it stations retrograde here, we are experiencing some hard lessons within friendship circles, group associations. This can also be for any kind of organization, political organization. There can be more conflict here as well. We could also feel more like we want to advocate for things or become more of an activist in our life. And Leo has a lot of issues around ego. And what's kind of hard is that we have Mercury in Sagittarius while Mars is in Leo, creating this fire trine, and it's making sextiles to Libra. And so some of those qualities of Libra that can be really confident and kind of, even though Libra is also known for being a passive sign, Libras are also very confident about what they do and what they know. And then we've got this like really intense egoic energy getting amplified in the atmosphere that really affects all of us in different ways. And so like with Libra, there's a lot of positivity here. Like this is a great time to elevate, network, use your skills, find creative ways to communicate, but also that other side of it where there can be conflict if you assert yourself too much or you try to come in too hot in certain ways. And how that can affect a group dynamic can be negative. So we're all kind of for November and December under a check yourself before you wreck yourself energy a little bit, but it's different for all of us. And for you, it's specifically in your house of communication with Mercury, and then your house of friendship circles, group associations with Mars in the 11th house. After that, we're going to have Venus leaving Sagittarius and moving into Capricorn around the 13th. So as I'm recording this, Venus has already, we're already in it. Like Mars is already in Leo, Mercury is already in Sagittarius, Venus is already in Capricorn because it's November 16th now. But the area of the chart that hits for you is the 4th house, which is the house of home and family. And Venus passing through the 4th house is really positive. It brings harmony in the home. It can also bring us closer with relationships with women or people in our family. If we live with a partner or we spend a lot of time with our partner in our home, this can also create a more harmonious environment. If there's points of contention in a home or family relationship that you want to focus on healing or resolving, this can be really beneficial for that too. Also, Venus passing through the 4th house can be really positive for making any kind of updates or aesthetic changes to the home. So if you want to redecorate, if you want to put some new art up, or, if you're thinking of reorganizing things, like this energy is really good for you kind of creating a plan and executing it in the sign of Capricorn. And Venus is going to be here until December. The first week of December. So this is a really good time to kind of utilize that energy to your benefit. After that, we have the sun. I'm sorry. We just had this on November 15th. We're going to have a full moon at 24 degrees Taurus. So this was yesterday now. And the area of the chart that this is hitting for Libra is the 2nd house and 8th house. And so full moon's great time for letting go, releasing, calling in things to manifest. Where the moon is hitting is your 8th house, which is the house that rules shared resources, taxes, debts, anything that has to do with your financial associations to institutions. This is also the sex, death, rebirth house. So, their full moon is highlighting, your 2nd house, money, shared resources, and also sex, death, rebirth. All of these things come up and it's a positive time for you to set intentions towards what you want to release and let go, what you want to manifest and call in terms of your goals around this area of your chart. After that, the next shift of energy is on that same day. Saturn's going to station direct in Pisces. We've had Saturn retrograde since the end of July or June. Let me double check here. It's the end of June. And so if you think about Saturn's been retrograde in Pisces in the area of the chart that has to do with your health and also how you organize your daily routine. If you feel like it's been kind of difficult and challenging over the last couple of years to really lock in your routine, Saturn retrograde maybe made that even more challenging over the last couple of months. And now that it's stationing direct, maybe you're kind of reflecting on what you learned over the last couple months and what you need to implement that's different. Maybe you feel like you need more spiritual hygiene, you need to meditate more, you need to, kind of work more on how you're connecting to your emotions and your deeper self in Pisces, and how spiritual health and maintenance is also equally important to how we take care of ourselves physically. The physical side of things could be coming up for you too as well, with it passing through the sixth house. After that, we are going to enter Sagittarius season on the 21st. Pluto is also going to enter Aquarius again. And let's see, there was something else happening on the 21st. Oh, we're going to enter the Mercury retrograde shadow period. So Sagittarius season starts, and I already talked quite a bit about Sagittarius season, but that's your third house, that communication house getting highlighted. So communication amplified for you. And with Mars in that 11th house, it's going to make that trine to Mars later on in the month. You're going to feel very social and active, not necessarily in a way that you want because it's Mars, but it's just going to be amplified. Then Mercury is going to station retrograde on the 25th at 22 degrees Sagittarius. So, again, communication conflicts are definitely there. Short distance travel can also be hard for where it's hitting in your chart. And then at the very end of the month on the 30th, we're going to have a new moon at 9 degrees of Sagittarius, and that's hitting in your third house of communication. So again, this is a really positive time for you to work on how you communicate and how you absorb information. And the new moon is great for setting intentions around those themes as well. All right, Libra, I'm going to leave you there. If you liked this video, please hit the like and subscribe button to get notified on when I post these. I also offer private one-on-one mentoring for astrology if astrology is something you want to learn. And you can find my contact info in the description box here. And I will see you all next month. Good luck.